Hello everybody, I hope you're all doing well, and in this video I wanted to make a tier list on the Twisted Metal Small Brawl vehicles. I thought it'd be something different and fun. I've been playing this game a lot lately, so let's jump right into it. First up in D tier, these are characters I do not look forward to playing. They're pretty bad and I don't really think they have any real redeeming qualities. First one, you all know it, it's Warthog. He's awful in this game. He has a 2 out of 10 armor stat based on testing, and he was able to take 11 fire missiles before dying, and he has about the same damage as a Ricochet for his special, which is not that great, especially because his missiles kind of fly erratically and they're hard to hit. It's not a reliable special, and I know this character was like he's like a combination of Grasshopper and Warthog because of a lack of time, but he really suffered for it. So he belongs here. I never look forward to playing him ever. Up next is Spectre. Spectre is like a slightly better version of Warthog. Your missiles are a bit more reliable and they have better tracking. And they can also fly through walls, but he still has the same crappy armor at 2 out of 10. And his special still does the same damage as the Ricochet, which is not great. I don't really find that too compelling for damage. And yeah, Spectre's, he's basically like a palette swap of Warthog. Up next is Axel, all the way up in B tier. Yep, there's no characters in C tier in this game in my opinion. Axel, he's pretty good. His special does about the same damage as a power missile, looking at the graph, based on testing. This is done in a, by the way, in a, like a one-on-one, two-player, with one card just sitting still. That's how I got all these numbers, and that's how I got all these numbers. Shout out to Wup for helping me. Anyways, Axel, he has a 5 out of 10 armor stat, which is pretty decent in my opinion. It's not the best, it's not the worst, it's right smack dab in the middle. And yeah, your special, it's sort of a hit or miss, literally, because if you miss your special, you're basically going to be doing no damage. But if you hit it, you'll be doing a power missile damage, and having a regenerating power missile, that's pretty good, I think so. Anyways, up next is Crimson Fury. I used to think Crimson Fury was just as bad as these two cars, but his special actually does a decent amount of damage with the fire and the 3 paper airplanes. You basically do as much damage as Mr. Grimm and Slam, which, you know, that's some good damage. You still have the 2 out of 10 armor stat like these two cars, but I think he's a lot better. He feels better. And I used to think he was part of like a shit trio with these cars, but he doesn't deserve that. He's actually pretty good. He's fast. And yeah, your special comes back pretty quick, does pretty good damage. Sometimes your missiles are a little dumb, but that's just par for the course with this game. Up next is Mr. Grimm. I think Mr. Grimm's a slightly better version of Crimson Fury. You're a little bit smaller. You actually have a 1 out of 10 armor stat. And your special, you shoot out 2 pumpkins in a straight line. They kind of do like a corkscrew motion. So sometimes it can be a little awkward hitting cars. But if you freeze them, you're guaranteed to do some good damage. Same damage as Slam and Crimson Fury. I like Grimm in this game. I don't think he's the best Grimm in this series. He's pretty mid, but, you know, he could be worse. We could say that. Up next is Mime. If this was a fun tier list, Mime would go straight up to S tier. I love playing this character, but we're going basically by practicality. I think Mime sits comfortably in B tier. You also have a 1 out of 10 armor stat like Mr. Grimm. And your special, you basically take whatever special is the closest card to you. So when you swap to it, it'll say like Mr. Slam special acquired or Axel special acquired. And yeah, you basically imitate their specials. So this character can be very map dependent. You're very squishy, but you can also be very strong if you get some lucky rolls of other characters on the map. And she's just really fun to play. I always have a good time playing as her. Up next is Trapper. Trapper is an example of a character having great armor and a really bad special. I don't think his special is that good because it just seems very unreliable. It's like they just go wherever the hell they want, and I believe his special, he can do a lot of damage of his special assuming that they all hit, but you have to be in an open environment and just like staring at the opponent. His special is more on par with like a Ricochet in damage for each hit, which, you know, that's pretty good if it's repeating a bunch of hits. Not like Warthog where the whole thing is your Ricochet damage. This is per hit that you're doing a Ricochet of damage. Also a huge target, but you do have an 8 out of 10 armor stat based on testing. You took 17 fire missiles before dying, so you're a beefy character. You have a okay special at best. That's why I think he's in B tier, just because his special's bringing him down. Alright, so who's next? Next I believe is Thumper. Thumper can do a stupid amount of damage with his special. Each tick of his special does... where is he? Each tick of his special does about the same as a fire missile, but it's like the Righteous Bison in TF2 where like if somebody's moving backwards, you'll just keep hitting them. Every time you hear like a you're going to be doing a tick of damage, so that damage really adds up. You can literally one-shot a phase of Piecemeal with Thumper. I've had Thumper 100 to 0 me as Mr. Slam. His special is ridiculous. But I have to say though, his special doesn't feel as good against smaller characters, which is what's keeping him from being an S tier, but he's strong. Thumper's like the counter to any big character in this game. Let's see. Up next, I believe, is Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth is pretty fun. Your special is like a coked up Roomba told to go murder people. You shoot it out and it'll just damage people. Let's see how much damage it does. Where is he? There he is. Oh, that's the corner hit. So one hit, it's not that big of a damage, but it really adds up. It's about a fire missile, but it can repeatedly hit people. Sometimes your special will just hit people a bunch at once, like Thumper, although it's pretty unreliable. Your special just does whatever it wants. It's like having a little ally on the field with you, damaging people and bouncing around. Sometimes it lasts a while, and sometimes it doesn't last that long at all, but he's a lot of fun. I think Sweet Tooth really grew on me in this game. Usually I just thought he was but the more I played him, the more I enjoyed him. I think he's really fun. You also have really beefy armor. I think you have the 4th best armor in the game, tied with the the playable version of Piecemeal as 7 out of 10. Took 16 fire missiles before dying into testing. Alright, up next is Shadow. I think Shadow's a pretty reliable character. Your special is basically you send out a little Grim Reaper that detonates on hidden enemies, or you can press the fire button again to detonate it. It's sort of like a moving remote bomb. I guess that's the best way to describe it. It can do some fat damage and it can disrupt your enemies by making them jump. And his special, or not special, his armor is actually pretty good. I believe you have just above average armor, 6 out of 10 armor. He took 15 fire missiles to hit before dying. So you have good armor, you have a great special. For some reason, your special does different damage depending on if you hit someone from the front or from the side. I don't know why. I think it's because you're doing 2 ticks of damage if you hit them from the side. So just something to keep in mind. But yeah, he just feels like a very reliable character. He's fun to play. I like him a lot. Alright, next is Hammerhead. Hammerhead has an 8 out of 10 special, yeah, he has an 8 out of 10 armor stat, taking 17 fire missiles before dying. And his special, you basically get your wheels grow, and you have like a moment before you can mount on top of a car, and you just do a tick of damage. During this time, you can actually drop mines on the cars. So his base damage it's okay, it's at a ricochet, but if you drop a bunch of mines, you can start stacking up damage at the cost of energy. I say 2 mines is about average that you can drop on someone, but I've dropped as much as 4 on someone if you can really press those buttons quick. He's a great character, he has great armor, he's fun to play. I love Hammerhead in this game. Alright, next I believe is Twister. Twister in this game is really strong. You move really stupidly fast. You have a 1 out of 10 armor stat, along with Mime and Grim, but your movement really helps you out, and your special is you have a little tornado on top of you, and you can scoop up cars, and all the cars that you scoop up will actually ram each other. The special on its own, it does pretty awful damage, but the real strength of the special is being able to reposition your enemies, and once again, if you pick up more than one enemy, they'll actually ram each other, so very strong character, very fun to play. I think this is the best version of Twister. It's probably the best version of Hammerhead as well, and the best for... I wouldn't say he's the best. Thumper's pretty fun. I don't think he's the best. Up next is the playable version of Piecemeal at S tier. This character probably moved the most in my tier list because I think I had him at B tier at one point, then I moved him up to A, and now he's at S. And the reason that he's at S tier is because you have access to Outlaw special, spoiler, but Outlaw Special is stupidly strong, and the fact that you have it all the time makes you really good. You have an 8 out of 10 armor stat, being able to eat, or no, he has a 7 out of 10 armor stat, being able to eat 16 missiles before dying. So you're pretty tanky. Yeah, just a great character. You have a similar special to Mime. You have like a pool of specials along with Mime. Mime is just dependent on what characters are on the map. Depends on what specials you get. Piecemeal, he does the same thing, but he also has Darkside, Hammerhead, and Outlaw specials. And Outlaw special is Darkside special is even good, but Outlaw special is just ridiculous. Speaking of Outlaw, Outlaw goes right into S tier. I think this is probably the best version of Outlaw in the Twist Metal series. Your special is you get a little taser. Basically, you latch onto an enemy and start draining their health, but if you keep rapidly tapping the fire button, you'll be doing more damage and you'll steal health, which is stupidly strong. That gives you a lot of sustain, and you can basically one-shot light cars as Outlaw. Tapping your special, which is just ridiculous on top of the health regen. He's so strong, it's ridiculous. Outlaw's armor is actually pretty weak at a 3 out of 10, but that doesn't matter because you're going to be getting all that health back of your special. And one-shotting light cars, he's so strong, he's so fun. I love this Outlaw. Up next is Mr. Slam. I don't think this will surprise anybody who's played this game, but Slam is just so good. You pick up enemies and slam them, assuming you can grab a hold of them. And if you miss, you do like a pitiful shockwave damage. Slam has the second best armor in the game, being able to eat 18 fire missiles, so he has a 9 out of 10 actual armor stat. And yeah, Slam is just a good time. Some maps, he's even above Darkside in terms of strength. I mean, you could throw people into meat grinders, you could throw people off ledges. You have complete control of your opponents, and Slam is one of the stars of the show of this game, in my opinion. And surprising absolutely nobody, Darkside is S tier. Darkside is, he might even be S plus tier. He's just a force to be reckoned with. He was able to eat 19 fire missiles, which is just crazy compared to the bottom tier characters. Well, I wouldn't say bottom tier. These characters are all better than these characters, but you can eat 19 fire missiles. Your special does about the same damage as a power missile per hit, and you can hit people multiple times. You can basically 100-0 light cars with this character. You can cut through crowds with this character. This character is so fun to play, and he's so broken. And honestly, he bullies Trapper and Piecemeal when you're going through the tournament. This character is just a force to be reckoned with, and if you haven't played him yet, I highly recommend it. This is probably one of the best Darksides in the entire series, and yeah, he's fun. He's so fun to play. And yeah, that's basically my tier list. I think Small Brawl has a good mix of tiers for characters. I'm sure you could swap around like these three, depending on personal preference. You could swap these two. I mean, they're both garbage. Thumper, he could move up or down depending on how you play as him. I think he belongs here. And I believe there's arguments to be had for Twister being an S tier. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good list. Good mix of characters, very fun roster, and yeah, underrated game. So anyways, don't forget to leave a comment on this video if you agree or disagree, or if you have any thoughts on these tiers. I'll be leaving an image of the testing I've done, just so you know where I got these numbers, just so you know I'm not crazy. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day, and peace out.